places, but nothing else so far. It's too early to know whether they've just come here to lie low or whether they mean to get up to their old tricks.
I'd like to see them try, that's all.
Grundy exploded.
We know how to deal with flash Londoners here.
Not a great deal of evidence, Mr. French, but just exactly how much? What haven't I been made privy to?
Oh, very little, sir, as I said, and perhaps nothing more to come that you should be, made privy to.
Mr. Grundy, you agree with that assessment?
Grundy pressed his heavy lips into a pout, a long moment to work out the best answer.
I suppose I do, sir, if Mr. French has fully put me in the picture.
Oh? And why is it him who is putting you in the picture and not the other way about? And why should there be any doubt that he has? I won't have any lack of cooperation between any of my officers, be they newcomers or old Norchester hands.
I've been careful to tell Mr. Grundy everything I've come to know, sir. I'd consider it less than my duty if I failed to. But the fact is that our knowledge of the Corrigan's activities happens to come from a man who was one of my informants back in London.
A nasty little snout,
Grundy put in. Well, a snout, certainly, but not altogether nasty. And not so little. The Corrigans ran, perhaps still run, a number of clubs and restaurants in London, apart from their protection rackets. And my informant, no more than a general hanger-on when I first got hold of him, rose up in their organisation. He used mostly to look after the legit side. Well placed to know what was going on, though. So, I'm happy to have him to tap up here. Learn just what, if anything, our friends have in mind.
Well, I don't like it, Mr. French. I'll be plain with you. I don't like the idea of London criminals coming here and thinking they can play havoc with us simple provincials. We've still some notion of the Queen's peace in Norchester.
Quite right, sir.
Grundy chimed in. I don't like having the Corrigans here, sir, any more than you do, Ned said, but it's always possible they've simply made things too hot for themselves in London, either with the Met or with some other firm with more muscle, and have come here to live the quiet life.
But they've acquired that club, yes? No doubt a disreputable establishment. What's it called? Do I know it?
Oh, it is disreputable, yes, sir. Classy in a way, but yes, disreputable. Dope peddlers use it, that sort of thing. It's called Smith's. George Grundy tugged an old envelope from his pocket, scribbled. That's Smith with a silent P at the start, George, Ned said. He received the glare he expected.
And you've heard nothing, nothing at all, Mr. French, about these people going in for protection here, or anything else we wouldn't want? Running girls?
Too much of that going on already, if you ask me,
Grundy put in.
I've said before, we should come down a sight harder on every whore in the city.
I thought it had been agreed what we do about that, Ned countered sharply. I don't want detectives spending half their time in court on tuppenny-halfpenny cases.
Tuppenny, eh?
That's enough, Mr. Grundy. There's no point in arguing it all out again. As you said, Mr. French, we have arrived at our policy on that somewhat contentious matter, and so long as the police committee are happy, I see no reason to make a change.
Lot of lily-livered liberals.
That's as may be, Mr. Grundy, but they're the people I have to report to, and the ones I depend upon for my finances. And, speaking of finance, Mr. French, are you making heavy payments to this source of yours?
No, sir. This is a fellow I've known for years. It was quite a surprise, bumping into him in Norchester, in fact. So our relations are strictly on an old acquaintance basis, with an occasional reference to a certain weakness of his, touch of public toilets, grottiness. How I got hold of him in the first place.
Bloody poofter. Doesn't surprise me.
Well, Mr. Grundy, we've all dirtied our hands from time to time to find out what was going on among the criminal fraternity, and at least we're not spending taxpayers' money here. I tell you, I don't at all like the current fashion for these substantial payments to informants. In my day, they were lucky to get a pound note and a drink.
More than they deserve.
Well, I'm inclined to agree with you there, Mr. Grundy. But is this source of yours, Mr. French? I take it you're not anxious to tell us any more about him than you have. Is he entered on the register?
No, sir, he's not. I didn't think it necessary. As I said, all I've learned from him since we happened to meet has been, as it were, friend to friend.